Can we please leave Plastic Man behind as a decoy? And welcome back to Comic Frontline, everybody. I am Brant Fowler, aka the Gonzo Goose, back with another episode of Brant's Weekly Comic Rankings. This is the series where I rank each and every comic I read this week from bottom to top for your viewing pleasure. So, this week I'm talking about books that came out on May 23rd, and I read 19 books this week, so let's get started. Coming in at number 19 for me was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends #1. I was just not a fan of this. I understand it's like the classic version of the Turtles where they all wore the same color bandanas. It was a little bit more crass and violent, but I just wasn't digging it. I didn't like the villains, I didn't like the art, and I'm not continuing with this series. Number 18 for me was Regression #10, and this book has been slowly dropping on my list. It was an interesting concept at the beginning, but over time I've just lost interest over and over, and at this point I don't even know if I'm going to keep reading. Number 17 is Incredible Hulk 717. I am so glad this arc is over. I'm tired of this trunk metaphor. I think it's kind of cool what's happened to Amadeus Cho. It's kind of like a classic She-Hulk, where she was kind of in between the state of hulked out and herself, because she was green but she was still Jen. So I'm curious to see what they do with this character now. Number 16 for me was Invincible Iron Man number 600. Not a bad issue, and kind of a good send-off for Bendis and these characters as they head off into different directions. And I don't mind wordy comics, I really don't, but I honestly fell asleep halfway through this book. There is so much exposition, not even the dialogue, but so much exposition by AI Tony that it was hard to get into. It was so much to take in, and it was decompressed to the point where everything took like an hour to get to your point. Number 15 for me was Black Panther #1. This is an interesting take on Black Panther. I can't tell where the timing is supposed to be, if it's supposed to be set in the future, if it's supposed to be an alternate timeline, if what's going on here. It's not really explained at all, but it's an interesting concept that Wakanda has branched out into the stars and has all these bases and everything, and now you've got T'Challa who has forgotten who he is, and he's on this ship and he's part of the labor force, and it's an interesting concept, so I'll stick with it for a little bit to see where it's going, but I'm a little confused. Number 14 for me, Justice League No Justice #3. This book is not really getting better. It's tolerable. It's not what I had hoped it would be, and it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Viral Docs being in the book kind of steps it up a notch for me, and he kind of explained, without Brainiac here, your roles are, I don't have a clue what you're supposed to be doing, neither do you. But it seemed like they solved this tree thing really fast, but then all of a sudden they didn't, and now they're popping up on Earth, so I just don't know about this series. Number 13 for me is Elsewhere #7. Solid issue for a solid book that always rides the middle for me. I love the concept, I love the art, the story is interesting, and you've got Amelia Earhart and D.B. Cooper and all these alien beings and stuff. Like I said, it's just a solid book. It just never quite makes it up there to my top 5. Number 12, Mara, Queen of Atlantis #4. Again, this is another solid series, and I read it because I'm a fan. And so I'm curious to see where they take these two characters coming out of the story. Number 11 for me was Batgirl #23. It was an okay issue. I've not been as sold on the story as some of my fellow frontliners, but I'm kind of glad that this arc is coming to an end, and you're moving on to see what's in store for Batgirl after this. But interesting story. Number 10 for me is Old Man Hawkeye #5. I'm still intrigued by this whole hunting down his former teammates on Thunderbolts and how that's going to go, and the subplot with Bullseye being hunted with a bounty on his head is very interesting. Number 9, The Silencer. Number 5, I'm enjoying this book, and I love the inclusion of Deathstroke here, and you see things start coming to a head as she's pulled back into this life completely, and now Talia is in trouble as well. Number 8 for me is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 45. Beautiful book. Interesting what's happening with Guy Gardner. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. Number 7, Hunt for Wolverine Mystery and Madripoor number 1. I like this because of the classic feel. It felt like a 90s issue of the book. It was kind of a walk down memory lane with Wolverine. Not my favorite of the Hunt for Wolverine so far, but solid because of the nostalgia. Number 6 for me, The Flash, number 47. The Flash War, much better issue than last. I'm still not sold on the art, but I like the tension that's building between the Flashes, and I'm curious to see where this goes. Alright, into my top 5. Number 5 for me is The Terrifics, number 4, a book that I just caught up on, and this book illustrated why this is DC's version of the Fantastic Four, the banter between Plastic Man and Metamorpho, just every character, every little character moment was beautiful in this book. Number 4, Detective Comics 981, the culmination of this Batman Eternal arc. Some touching stuff happened here as Tim and Bruce bond, Tim and Stephanie bond, and move on to their next step in their lives. And you kind of see this come to a close as we go into the next chapter. Number 3, Infinity Countdown, Darkhawk, number 1. It was a very good story, and I can't wait to see where this one goes, and hopefully Darkhawk comes back into the Marvel Universe full force. Number 2, X-Men Gold, number 28. Kitty is on the hunt to find her husband to be. Really cool story as they go into space, and you get a lot of character stuff with Rachel and Kitty, and Rachel just kind of lets out on this Nance lady, and so on and so forth. I'm invested in this, and I want to see Kitty have a happy ending. And number 1 for me was another book I just started back with this arc, Wonder Woman number 47. I thought this was a fantastic issue. I'm totally invested in this Dark Gods story. I'm interested in what's happening with Jason. I like that you had Wonder Woman and Supergirl fighting. The art is gorgeous, and this is just a very interesting story. So it's hooked me back in, at least for this arc. There you have it. Those are my weekly rankings. Come check me out on Comic Frontline Live if I make it tonight. If not, I will definitely have my top 5 read off there, but check it out every week so you can see me discuss my top 5 in more depth with the rest of the Frontline crew. You can also find me on my channel, Brant Fowler, for Monday Musings and Daily Muse each and every week. You can follow me at Brant Fowler on Facebook and Twitter, zone4podcast.com, lastnumberpress.com, and of course right here on Comic Frontline. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.